Jennifer Aniston is finally facing the music regarding what many are calling a $21 million mistake that looks exactly like the toxic patterns she has tried to escape for decades. Everyone wants to know why she is pouring money into a project for a man who might not even be around next year, and what this means for her ultimate legacy in Hollywood. By the end of this deep dive, you will understand the three major questions surrounding this crisis, which are why she ignored the red flags from her inner circle, what the specific financial documents reveal about her cohabitation strategy, and how this mirrors the exact mistakes she made with Justin Theroux. According to a report from TMZ published just last Tuesday, the paper trail for her newest property acquisition shows a level of financial entanglement that is practically unheard of for a single star of her caliber. If you look at the building permits filed in Los Angeles County on November 14th, you will see that Jennifer has already authorized over $8 million in custom renovations specifically requested by her new partner before they have even celebrated a one-year anniversary. This is the smoking gun that has fans and financial experts alike sounding the alarm, because it reveals she is not just dating this person, but she is subsidizing a lifestyle that he could never afford on his own. You can see the actual scan of the permit application dated November 14th at the 10-second mark of this video, which clearly lists Jennifer as the primary financier, but includes a rider for a secondary occupant with full design authority. This is a massive red flag that suggests she is once again blurring the lines between a romantic partner and a business dependent, which has cost her tens of millions of dollars in the past. This brings us to the first major pillar of this drama, which involves the staggering $21 million financial layout Jennifer has committed to this new chapter of her life. While most people see a beautiful new estate in the hills, the accountants see a high-risk investment with zero exit strategy. To understand the gravity of the situation, we have to look at the line item expenses currently being billed to her business management firm. According to insiders close to the project, the $8 million renovation isn't just for a kitchen remodel or a new pool. It includes a $3.5 million subterranean recording facility with custom acoustic treatments imported from Italy, and a dedicated fiber optic line that cost over $200,000 to install through the hillside. For years, Jennifer has been known for her zen, minimalist style, which she perfected during her years in Bel Air. But these new plans include a high-tech recording studio, a commercial-grade gym, and a separate wing that insiders say is being designed specifically for her partner's professional ventures. The shock factor here isn't just the price tag, but the fact that Jennifer is footing the bill for a workspace for a man who has yet to prove his long-term commitment to her or to his own career. According to sources cited by Architectural Digest in early December, the cost of the soundproofing and specialized equipment alone has exceeded $3 million. This is a massive departure from her previous real estate moves, where she kept her assets strictly in her own name and for her own use. Critics are pointing out that this looks less like a shared home and more like a high-end playground funded entirely by the friend star. The sheer scale of the spending suggests a level of desperation to keep the relationship exciting and stable by providing every possible luxury. This is what experts call the golden cage strategy, where one partner uses their immense wealth to make it impossible for the other person to leave without losing their entire quality of life. But in Jennifer's case, the cage seems to be built around her own heart as much as it is around his lifestyle, and the financial weight of it is starting to show in her public appearances. But even more shocking than the money is the legal reality hiding behind the scenes, which is our #1 most explosive point today. We have learned through sources close to her legal team that Jennifer has allegedly bypassed a standard cohabitation agreement in favor of a much more casual handshake deal. This is the exact opposite of what her advisors recommended after her divorce from Justin Theroux. Back in 2018, it was reported that the primary sticking point in her split from Justin was the massive disparity in their incomes and how they handled their shared properties. You would think that after losing millions in legal fees and property settlements, she would have learned to protect her empire with an ironclad prenuptial or cohabitation contract. However, the latest reports suggest she is operating on emotion rather than logic. Under California law, there is a legal precedent known as a Marvin action, which allows a non-marital partner to sue for a portion of assets if they can prove there was an implied contract or a promise of financial support. By allowing her new partner to direct $3.5 million in renovations to her property, she is inadvertently creating a paper trail that could be used against her in court to prove he contributed to the value of the home. This level of oversight is staggering for a woman with a net worth estimated at over $300 million. There is a specific document circulating in the Hollywood legal community that suggests her new partner has been granted a power of attorney over certain aspects of the estate management. If this is true, it means he has the power to sign off on expenses and manage staff using Jennifer's funds without her direct oversight on every transaction. This level of trust is unprecedented for her, especially considering the relationship is still in its infancy and hasn't even hit the 2-year mark yet. People are asking if she is being love-bombed or if she is simply so exhausted by the dating scene that she is willing to pay any price for companionship. The most disturbing part of this legal oversight is that California law regarding palimony and shared assets is notoriously complex and favors the person with the lower income when a long-term cohabitation is established. By allowing him to influence the design and management of $1 million asset, she is giving him a legal claim to the property's value increase over time, which could lead to another $20 million settlement if things go south. While the legal and financial aspects are cold and calculated, the emotional fallout is becoming very public through her inner circle. This brings us to the third part of our investigation, which is the reported intervention by her closest friends, like Courtney Cox and Jason Bateman. For decades, this group has been the gold standard for Hollywood friendships, but lately there has been a noticeable silence from the camp. Usually we see the whole squad together for birthdays and holidays, but the most recent sightings showed Jennifer alone or exclusively with her new partner in high-end vacation spots that seem designed for privacy rather than community. According to a feature in US Weekly from 2 weeks ago, Courtney Cox has expressed private concerns that Jennifer is moving too fast and repeating the same mistakes she made with her previous marriages by letting her partner dictate her social circle. The tension apparently reached a breaking point during a private dinner in Malibu back in October, where the new partner allegedly made comments about Jennifer's future career moves and her legacy that didn't sit well with her longtime friends who have been with her since the 90s. It's one thing to date a younger or less famous man, but it is another thing entirely to let that man start directing your business affairs and alienating your support system. The concern is that Jennifer is isolating herself from the people who have kept her grounded for 30 years. This isolation is a classic red flag in toxic relationship dynamics, and the fact that it's happening to someone as seasoned as Jennifer Aniston is what makes it so tragic for her fans to watch in real time. Her friends are reportedly worried that she is being manipulated by someone who sees her not as a person, but as a brand to be managed and a bank account to be accessed for the rest of his life. To truly understand why this is happening now, we have to look back at the historical data of Jennifer's relationships, which is our fourth and final point. There is a clear and documented pattern of Jennifer using real estate as a way to fix her relationships or provide a sense of security that doesn't actually exist. When she was with Brad Pitt, they spent years and millions of dollars on the renovation of their Beverly Hills estate, only to announce their split shortly after the final coat of paint was dry. When she was with Justin Theroux, she spent millions transforming her Bel Air home to suit his specific artistic sensibilities, only for him to spend most of his time on the East Coast anyway. She seems to believe that if she can build the perfect environment, she can finally create the perfect relationship. This is a form of architectural therapy that has never worked for her in the past, and only serves to complicate her financial exit when the romance inevitably fades. The $21 million she is spending now is just the latest attempt to buy stability in an industry that thrives on chaos and change. If you look at the timeline of her past 3 major breakups, they all follow the same sequence, which starts with a massive property purchase, followed by a multi-year, multi-million-dollar renovation, and ends with a sudden and public split that leaves her holding the bill for a house that was built for someone else. It's a cycle of building and then losing that has cost her an estimated $50 million over the course of her career, when you factor in taxes, legal fees, and lost appreciation on homes she sold in in a hurry. The financial mistake isn't just the current 21 million, it's the cumulative effect of a lifetime of trying to build a home for men who aren't ready to stay. We have to ask ourselves if she is aware of this pattern, or if she is so deeply invested in the dream of a happy home that she can't see the reality of the invoices piling up on her desk. The depth of this pattern goes even further when you look at the specific brands and contractors she is hiring. Reports indicate that she has brought back some of the same high-end designers who worked on her home with Justin Theroux, which suggests she is trying to recreate a specific period of her life where she felt secure. However, those designers are reportedly charging a premium because they know the history and the risks involved with her projects. It is a specialized form of Hollywood tax that Jennifer seems willing to pay without question. Furthermore, the timeline of her public statements about being happy alone contrasts sharply with her private actions of deep financial entanglement. This creates a disconnect that her fans are starting to pick up on, especially as she promotes her latest business ventures. It feels as though the money she is making from her successful brands is being funneled directly into a relationship that lacks a solid foundation. If she were to walk away today, she would likely lose the $8 million she has already spent on renovations, because most of those customizations are so specific to her partner's needs that they actually lower the resale value of the home for a traditional buyer. A soundproof recording studio and a professional-grade gym wing are niche additions that don't appeal to everyone in the $20 million price bracket. This means she is effectively flushing millions down the drain for a lifestyle that only exists as long as this relationship does. In summary, Jennifer Aniston is currently standing at a crossroads that could define the rest of her life and her massive fortune. She has committed $21 million to a project that her friends hate, her lawyers fear, and her own history proves will likely fail. She is ignoring the receipts of her own past and doubling down on a strategy that prioritizes a partner's comfort and professional ambitions over her own long-term financial security. The signs are all there, from the building permits in Los Angeles to the hushed whispers in Malibu and the strained silences from her inner circle. She is caught in the loop of toxic generosity, where she gives everything in the hopes of receiving a love that doesn't require a paycheck to maintain. Whether or not she can break this cycle before the final contracts are signed and the relationship becomes a permanent legal liability remains to be seen. But the evidence suggests that the $21 million mistake is already well underway. If you want to see how this fits into the larger trend of Hollywood stars losing it all for love, you need to check out our special deep dive into the patterns of high net worth breakups to see the full scope of how these elite are being targeted and why their inner circles can't stop the bleed. Click on our Fresh Celebrity Tea playlist right now to see the full pattern of how the elite are losing their fortunes in plain sight, and how Jennifer Aniston's current crisis is just the tip of the iceberg in a much larger Hollywood trend.